after, because he went to go talk to Zedekiah, the same thing, same Mr. Zedekiah went to go talk to the king and said this, and they're like, he's like, this is not going to happen. What Jeremiah said, in 2 years, everything's going to be restored inside the kingdom. Now, let me think about that. What does that remind you of when somebody tells you blessing's going to come, but it may not necessarily be coming? Have you guys heard anything like that before? Have you, Debbie? Heard people just give out prophecies of blessing? There's no guarantee it's really going to happen. It's almost like listening to a soothsayer. A soothsayer is a seer, like you go to the astrology person and they look at your hand and tell you the lines of hands, or they look at the signs in the sky. Or if you go to a magic show and a guy says he's a psychic, and he sort of gets suggestions out there and waits for somebody to respond the way he says. He tells you what you want to hear, but it's very vague, not specific. It can apply to almost anything in your life. And then hopefully something will happen where you can relate to it. Like you had a father. Most people in the place had a father. And your father had, or somebody here had red hair and blue shoes. Oh, I have red hair and blue shoes. He's talking about me. No, he's not talking about you. He's guessing. Or sometimes they might, there's times where the people have gone and worked the crowd before they got into, there's some churches, unfortunately, people, where they've gone in and worked the crowd and found out things about certain individuals. They have it on a card. They found their prayer requests on a card. And then they got an earpiece on and they're whispering the issue to the preacher as he's listening and say, oh, I got a message from God. And, oh, how did he know that? They know it because it was on a card, on a note card. These things really happen, people. What do they call that? What do you guys call that when somebody's doing something like that? What would you call them? They act like they're real. They act like they got power, but they really don't have power. What would you call that? Huh? Fake. A fake. What would you call it, Debbie? What would you call it? What would you call it? My wife's helping with the kids out. If you can't really see what's going on. What would you call it? A false prophet.